What's up, music and or vinyl lovers? So I decided that I would go ahead and make another video, um, my actual first video of just records that I picked up, I guess, in the last week or 10 days. Um, and I'm going to talk about a little bit why I got them, what I like about them, stuff like that. I just figured I'd go ahead and throw that first one out there now after my introduction video, um, and I would just go ahead and do this. So it's Sunday, Mother's Day. Hope all the mothers out there had a nice day today. My wife, I think she had a pretty good day. My mother-in-law, I know, did. She had a surprise. Her youngest son, my brother-in-law, surprised her with a visit this weekend from San Diego. So I know that that was pretty nice. I didn't see my mother today. I did call her and talk to her. We actually already gave her her Mother's Day present. But that's not why you guys are watching this video. Not because it's Mother's Day, because I'm going to be talking about music and talking about records. So I'm going to start with the first record that I picked up last Saturday. And there's a story that goes along with it. But this is it right here. It is Disney's Volume 1 and 2 Ultimate Hits. And you're thinking, why in the world did you pick this up, probably? Well, maybe you know. I said in my last video, and some of you that know me know that I have a 4-year-old daughter. And she loves music, which I think is amazing. As do my 2 older daughters. I have 2 teenage daughters, which I may talk about them in another video, but I do have 2 teenage daughters that are into music as well, but probably not as heavily as my 4-year-old. Like I said, this record, it is Ultimate Disney Hits 1 and 2, so it's a 2 LP set, and it has pretty much all the great Disney songs that you would want. I mean, we're talking about songs from The Jungle Book, Moana, Aladdin, Toy Story, Mary Poppins, The Lion King, The Little Mermaid. I mean, Beauty and the Beast. Come on. I mean, we're talking about all the good stuff, all the stuff that I grew up with, and stuff that my daughter loves as well. Her favorites are Frozen, Moana, and Tangled. Tangled. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so this has a bunch of those songs on it, and the reason I ended up with this was kind of an accident. So I was at Target. And here comes all the hate for Target records, but I was at Target with my 4-year-old, and I told her she could pick out a toy, and she picked out what they call an LOL doll, which I'm not going to get into all that because that's a whole nother video in itself about different things. But anyway, next to the toy section is the electronics, and I was in Monroe, which is down the road a little ways, but not too far. I was in Monroe, and I just happened to notice that there were, they had a pretty good size records section compared to the one here right down the road. I was like, whoa, look at all that. So I walked over there, and her eyes, of course, spotted this, because who did she see? She saw, she saw Moana. She saw, and I'm going to get shot for not knowing her name, but I can't think of it. Princess and the Frog was never really one of my favorites, but I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it was never one of my favorites. But anyway, she saw this, and she's like, oh, Daddy! And so she picked it up, and she's like, okay, Daddy, let's go. Let's go buy the record and the LOL doll. And I'm a sucker. All right, I'll go ahead and say it. I'm a sucker. She's freaking adorable. I love her to death, and so I couldn't say no. I mean, and so we picked this up. And we listened to it that day when we got home. She was really excited about it. And I was very surprised because she listened to both LPs front and back without asking for a different song or anything. She just listened to them. And I think she loved them. So yeah, I was like, all right, you know what? For $25 or whatever it was, I don't remember, for a 2 LP set of classic Disney songs, and these are like not remade songs, they're the ones straight from the movies, so I mean they sound good. And also, before I forget, it is on blue and green, much like these colors. I said blue and green, no wait, it is blue and green. Anyway, blue and green, LP. So, you know, nice little pickup for her. I mean, like I said, she loves music. She likes going into my record room, we'll call it for now, to sit down and listen to records with me. And when she gets to pick out her own, well, that just makes her even happier. So that was the first pickup, one of my first pickups of the last week or so. So, you know, I mean, would I buy it for myself? Well, no. But for a 4-year-old who loves music and actually likes records, yeah, I'll do that every day. But don't tell my wife that. The next thing I picked up, also from Target, just because I was there and I saw it and was pretty stoked about it, was this beauty, Sgt. Pepper's. Honestly, I mean, you can't really pick a favorite Beatles album, I don't think, but this is my favorite. I'm sorry, it's amazing front to back. I mean, I love this record. I actually have a UK mono copy of this that sounds really good. This is the 2017, I believe, anniversary edition, the Giles Martin. Sounds phenomenal, of course. It's in stereo, so you know, but I mean, it sounds phenomenal. All of the Giles Martin's anniversary editions sound great. I have each of them actually, and I might do another video on those at another time. But anyway, I saw this again. It's my favorite Beatles record, even though I had a UK mono. I was like, I really want to get the Giles Martin anniversary because I have it on CD when it came out, and I mean, I'd listened to it over and over again. It's just like I said, this is one of my all-time favorites, and so I had to get it. And again, for $25 for the anniversary edition, I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, Target, you're surprising me. And I mean, it's great quality because I mean, these aren't pressed by Target. You know what I mean? Like this is, you know, or pressed by like some small plant. This was the stuff that, you know, they did. I mean, it was good stuff. So sounds great, great quality. Again, best Beatles record. I know that's probably sacrilegious to say. You can't say best Beatles record, but for me, this is my all-time favorite. So happy to have it. Love it. Sounds great. Another story I'm going to tell you real quick. So, you know, today's Mother's Day, like I was saying, and the gift that myself and my 4-year-old gave my daughter, or my wife, was this bad boy. This is the Palace Pressing on 2LP 45 RPM. It's still open actually, or it's still unopened. I haven't opened it yet, but it's actually for my wife. My wife this is her favorite record of all time. She loves every song on this album. Which I mean, this is probably one of those, you know, what you call a perfect record. Honestly, there's nothing bad on it. You hear every single one of these songs on the radio. So, but I already have a copy of the album itself. It's actually a German pressing, and I mean it sounds good. I mean, I don't like the cover; it's super flimsy, but I mean it sounds good. I mean, it's got some surface noise. I mean, it's an old pressing. It's an original German, but I mean it sounds good. But I've been hearing constantly how great this pressing is. Mike at the End Groove did a video on it. Dylan, I know, at Noble Records, which is where I got this, by the way, he told me how good it sounded. So the thing is, I was taking some records of into Noble Records to sell, really, and I probably had a stack of 10 or 12, maybe. I don't even remember. And I mean, all good stuff, but I've been slowly trying to purge my record collection down to stuff that I know I'm going to listen to, that I want to keep. Like this, the really, really good stuff that I know is going to sound good on vinyl or is just, you know, great albums. And so like some of the stuff that, you know, you hear is filler, I guess. I was like, I need to start getting rid of this stuff. For one thing, I can make more room and get a little bit of money to pay, you know, to buy more records. But anyway, so I took my daughter with me. It was the same day that I got these records from Target. But I took my daughter with me, and you know, Dylan's looking through them, and he's telling me how much he'd give me for them, which I thought was fair, because like I said, they weren't like the best albums in the world. They were just filler albums. And I saw this on his behind him. It was actually on a super holy moly wall, which, I mean, you could say, I guess, because these things, were not in print for a while, and it was hard to get them unless you wanted to, pay, over $100 for them almost. And I didn't pay that for this because this was new, because they're in print right now. If you if you can get them, get them. But I was asking him about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's the only one I got." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, they only sent me one." I said, "Oh, I thought you had more." He said, "No, the other ones are the 33, and they're not pressed at Palace." So I said, "Oh, okay." And so we were talking about the sound of it. And so he actually just, he handed it to me to look at. So I was looking at it, and my 4-year-old Sarah, she grabbed, like, she saw it. She said, "That's mommy's favorite record." And I said, "Yeah, it is." And so she grabs it like this, and she goes, well, not like that, but she grabbed it. And she goes, "Mine." I went, "Wait, what?" Again, remember, I have a hard time saying no to her because she's my little girl. Um, but she said, "Mine." I was like, "Oh, crap." And so Dylan's like, "All right, well, the difference is this." So anyway, basically, because of my 4-year-old, I now have this, or I'm sorry, my wife, because again, this is actually her Mother's Day present, which she was happy about. I mean, like I said, she loves this album, and to know that it's going to be an amazing copy, she's excited about it. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say, guys, if you don't have this album, or at least a version of this album, you definitely need to get one. And also, I've heard nothing but great things about this pressing of it. Just the sound quality, the just overall quality in general of everything. I mean, this is a super nice gatefold. Like I said, I haven't opened it yet, but it's a super nice gatefold. It's on. I'm not the biggest fan of 45 RPM, just because you got to flip and flip and flip. But I mean, for something like this, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it because, like I said, it's one of the all-time greats. So, best song on this album, in my opinion, Never Going Back Again. Because if you watch Lindsey Buckingham play, I don't know how. I mean, it's freaking incredible. The the fingering on the left hand, and just the way he's plucking the strings on his right is just he is so unique in the way he plays, and so underrated. An amazing guitar player. I mean, there's always debates about Fleetwood Mac, and were they the best when Lindsey and Stevie joined, or were they better before when they were more of a blues band? I mean, this is one of the best-selling records of all time, so it's kind of hard to say that they weren't. So I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm happy to have this. Like I said, haven't opened it yet. My wife's gonna get to do those honors, of course. But I can't wait to hear it because I'm sure it's gonna sound amazing. So yeah. So that's number 3 there. All right, next thing I picked up, and the next few are from the Record Bar in Wilmington. I know I mentioned them before. Love those guys. But I got a copy of Jimi Hendrix, and it's hard to say which Jimi Hendrix album is better. Is it Electric Ladyland? Is it Axis Bowles' Love? Or is it, of course, Are You Experienced, his solo or his debut album? Which, I mean, I love that album. I mean, I love all of his albums, honestly. You can't say, But this is actually, now I already have a copy of the album. Lindsay, if you're watching, I bought it a long time ago, so. But, I already have a copy, on the reprise. I don't know, I have to go back. I don't think it's a first issue, but anyway. But it's not, like, it sounds okay, but the cover is tore all to crap. And so it's just not the best quality version of it, I guess. And this is, the 2010 George Moreno, and, George Moreno with the UHR, with the Analog Productions UHQR pressing of Are You Experienced out. I noticed a lot of people were, kind of doing a Moreno versus the UHQR, and I really wanted to get it so bad, and I even had it ordered, and they canceled the order. I just couldn't find myself. I couldn't say I was going to spend that much money on it. So I just have the Merino of the RU Experience, which I mean sounds amazing. And so that got me wondering though about the sound of this one, uh, and also of Accessible to Love. I do have actually first U.S. Pressings of Accessible to Love and um, are you experienced on the Tricolor label, which are really really cool. They're in good shape. They're not in perfect shape. There's some surface noise and stuff like that. I haven't got a chance to listen to this one though. And like I said, this is the Moreno pressing, which I figured, well, if the Are You Experience sounds as good as it does, this one's got to sound great. Of course, this is 2 LP set, and I haven't listened to it just yet, but I mean, I'm excited to. I mean, I think everyone loves Voodoo Child Silent Return. I mean, I think that's kind of one of those songs that if you're a young guitar player, it's like, I want to learn that song. And honestly, just any Hendrix song, period. But, you know, I mean, it's a great album. I don't think it's my favorite Hendrix album, even though it has that song on it. I don't think it's my favorite. I love it, but I don't think it's my favorite. But anyway, so I picked that up from Record Bar on a Thursday night show. So excited to have it. I just need to get a copy of Accessible to Love, Merino pressing, and I'll be done. So anyway, got that, and looking forward to it. Next, picked up this Pete Townsend Face to Face Record Store Day. So I went to Record Store Day in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I bought 3 albums for myself and then 1 for my girls. I got the Taylor Swift 7-inch for my girls, which they were ecstatic about getting. And then, but I also got the main 3 that I was going for were the Proclaimers. Really wanted to get that, and I did. I got everything I wanted. I got Stevie Nicks, Belladonna, because I realized I didn't even have a copy of that record. You gotta have a copy of that, so I figured might as well go ahead and get the Record Store Day, which by the way, it sounds great. And then also the Offspring Greatest Hits. But this one kept veering its ugly head my way, and I kept thinking, should I get it? Should I get it? Should I get it? I didn't end up getting it. And then they sold out, and then they sold out on Sunday as well when they did their live show on Sunday. I was so close to getting it then. So then on Thursday, the Thursday show, it popped its head up again, and I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna pass it up this time. I'm just gonna get it. And normally, I like Pete Townsend a lot. Actually, I mean, I'm a huge fan of his, especially with the Who, because he's just he has a very unique sound to the way he plays. I don't think he's the greatest singer in the world. I'll just go ahead and say it. I mean, he's not bad. I mean, I'd rather hear Roger Daltrey sing. I mean, because let's face it, he was the voice, you know, of the Who. But, you know, I mean, Pete Townsend was the guy that wrote all those songs. So what's that tell you? And, you know, there's some Who classics on here, but then also stuff from his solo career. Because this was actually for an album, I can't remember the album name all of a sudden, that he was touring at the time. And what's cool about this show is the fact that, for one thing, it was on, it made its way on TV in Germany, I guess. But what's cool about it is the fact that David Gilmour plays lead guitar on this tour and on this record for Pete Townsend. So, yeah, it's not too shabby there, I don't think. You get Pete Townsend and David Gilmour, 2 big, humongous bands right there coming together. Now, there aren't any Pink Floyd songs on this record, but, I mean, David Gilmour has a very distinct sound to his playing, and so you're going to know it, you know what I mean? I haven't listened to this yet either, but I'm super excited to have it. Excuse me. Anyway, so, got this. Excited to hear it. And then I also picked up this. Yep, that's right. Norah Jones. And I'm sure you're thinking, wow, I wasn't expecting Nora Jones after the first record you showed me. Well, what can I say? I have a very large taste palette for music. But this is the 20th anniversary edition, which I have heard was all analog, cut by the from the original tapes. Which, I mean, it's only 20 years old, so of course they still have the original tapes. But I heard, oh, this is like an amazing sounding record without going like the Analog Productions route. Which, I mean, I love Analog Productions, but those are like close to $100 right now, I think, if you can find one of those online. This, like $24, if that. So anyway, I did listen to this though. I actually listened to it today, and oh my gosh, it sounds so good. Now I have to be perfectly honest with you. I was never really a huge fan, or I don't even say fan. It was just that I didn't listen to this when it first came out. I really did not listen to this record or album when it first came out. But as my tastes have changed and stuff like that, or not changed, but just grown, I'm not a huge jazz fan, but I like jazz with vocals, which I know a lot of people are very opposite. They can't stand jazz with vocals, they just prefer the instrumental. This, of course, it's jazz, it's R&B, it's acoustic, it's a little bit of pop, I guess you'd say, but it just sounds so good. She's got, just that voice, when you hear her start singing, you know that it's Nora Jones. But it sounded so good. And so I'm super excited. I mean, this album, if you don't know anything about this album, do some research on it, just because this album won like 8 Grammys in 2002, and it won every award that it was up for. Best album, song, artist, best new artist, the engineering, all that kind of. It won everything. Not to mention, in its first month, it sold over 10 million copies. Now, that is a lot, especially in the age of pirated music, because this came out in 2002, when Napster was running free and people weren't paying for music. So the fact that people went to the store and bought this, and it's now sold 27 million copies since 2002. 27 million. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a double diamond record. And if you don't know what diamond means, it just means that it sells over 10 million copies. And to go platinum, you sell, I believe, 2 million, I think, or is it just one? It means to be one. Anyway, but yeah, it sounds so good. It sounds so good. So if you don't have a copy of this, get this record. You will not be upset that you did. So, yeah. And then the last two that I'm going to talk about come by way of Big Love Vinyl. And I know I didn't mention them before, but Big Love Vinyl is owned by a friend of mine that is actually he's technically, he works at the record bar as well. But Doug Osbury, good guy. Doug, shout out to you, buddy. I appreciate you. My wife actually does some work for Doug for his website of Big Love Vinyl, and he actually told her one time. He said, "You can't tell Kendall what albums you're doing on the spreadsheets that you're doing, because he's gonna want half of them," which is not really wrong, but she told me, so she told me that this record was on there, and Doug's actually sent me some stuff in the past, and he sent me this, Dr. John's Gumbo. Now, this is not my favorite Dr. John record, but it is a great Dr. John record. This is on the Alligator label, which is not the original, but it is this is, I swear it's near mint, honestly, Doug. I don't know where you found this at, but good on you, man. It sounds great. It's actually kind of cool. It even has the it's pretty neat. It still has the order thing for Alligator Records. If you want to get more records or anything else, kind of cool. But he sent me this. He knows that I'm a huge. It was kind of funny when my wife was doing her spreadsheet and she told me. I texted Doug like right then and was like, Doug, that Dr. John record, I need it. And his reply back was this: I knew it. So, Doug, you are the man. Thank you. This was one that I've been wanting to add to my collection. And if you don't know this record, guys, this record is awesome. It is a compilation or a collection of covers from New Orleans R&B songs and stuff. And this was honestly probably the first record of Dr. John's that really got airplay, and he started to get popular. And then his next album, which is of course my favorite, is Right Place, In the Right Place, yeah. And which I have a copy of that as well, but I wanted a copy of this because this is a great record. I mean, it's just some really good, soulful, funky R&B, jazz, all rolled into one. Awesome sounding. So, Doug, thank you for this. And the last record I'm going to talk about also comes from Doug and Bigelow Vinyl. And Doug just knows that I'm a fan, so he threw this one in for me, and I appreciate it. But is The Outfield. And I'm sure you guys are going, okay, didn't see that one coming. This is a great record, guys. Oh my goodness, this record, everyone thinks of one song when they think of The Outfield, and that's Your Love, which is a great song. I love it. But this whole album is just so good. That, British new wave power pop stuff. I mean, it's just good. When I think of these guys, I think of Duran Duran for some weird reason. Well, not some weird reason. I think of Duran Duran. I think of the Cars, maybe even. Stuff like that. And I mean, this whole record sounds so good. If you like Your Love, you'll like everything on this record. I was reading somewhere that they said that they wanted to be kind of like the Cars, but also like Rush, which I thought was kind of weird. But I think he even said, like the lead singer said, tape deck Rush or something like that you could put in your car. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, this record sounds good. It is also a first pressing. And it is, again, like near mint on that Columbia label. Near mint, I swear. Super clean. Sounds great. No nothing. This was also, by the way, George Moreno that engineered this. Yeah, so just remember that the guy that engineered those Jimi Hendrix records that sound really good engineered this. So yeah, think about that. But yeah, super, super excited to have this. I've been wanting a copy for a long time. Haven't had one. Doug threw this in the box for me. So Doug, I appreciate it, bud. You are the man. And that is what I picked up in the last 7 to 10 days. This again was my first video for that, talking about certain records, music, and all that kind of stuff. Guys, I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, subscribe, because I am trying to grow this channel. That's my, I want to, because I think it's fun, and maybe you'll think it's fun too. I don't know. But hope you enjoyed the video, and guys, if I don't talk to you later, have a great week. Happy Mother's Day, and look for some good music out there, guys. There's plenty of it around.